Hello, you level grinding cats and dolls out there in YouTube land. Play better fucking RPGs. Seriously, just play better RPG video games. Play whatever you can go fucking find. Stay away from MS Saga A New Dawn. And I've been trying not to, cuss as much, try to seem more professional. Fuck this video game. Seriously. It's boring. It's boring. It's a mech-based video game set in the Gundam universe, and it's an RPG. There are so many exponential story elements, characters, or just lore that you can go pull from any of these universes and make a fantastic RPG. And this gets released in the States, and these games are a dime a dozen. We get few too many of these games like this. Why? Because they don't think there's a market out here for this type of game. They're Japan exclusive. And when we finally get a game, it is given to a dev team that is so fucking lazy that you can go feel their laziness seep through the game as you play it. I'm angry about this game because I was so excited to play it. I really love the Gundam universe. I'm a mech fan. I love things from 00083 Stardust Memories. I love things like Wing, 000. The second season of 000, but the first season was a lot better. But I love these things. And we got a mech-based game set in the Gundam universe. By far one of the biggest mech-based universes in all of anime. And this game is just lazy. It's a paint-by-numbers RPG, players. This is a paint-by-numbers game. Main character with a tragic backstory, which makes him fight harder and harder? Check. Goofy and lovable sidekick? Check. Girl with mysterious past but lost her memories and has an overall bigger meaning to the plot of the game? Check. Throw in a couple of side characters and a generic boss and, a generic enemy, and you have this fucking game. If you're not a hardcore RPG player, or if this isn't coming across making much sense, it's because this game is just really lazy. I can understand that people out there would argue a lot of RPGs are like this. But throughout the course of the game, you have things breaking up the game. I played Eternal Sinatra. Things happen. Things like Allegretto liking Polka, Polka wanting to go contribute to Frederick's decision, trying to go convince him that this is not a dream, that this world is reality. Alba and Dante and all the fights that they're going through, the revolution that they're trying to go bring. Like, things break up along the course of the game. Characters are introduced. Things develop that help the plot. It works like this. If Polka became sick at one point and needed a cure to go help her through the sickness, and it was in this dungeon, of course Allegretto will go to the dungeon. That's understandable. During his time in encounters in the dungeon, he might come across Alba and Dante, who's making this big sneak attack on the same town that Polka's in. But he doesn't know this. So they join forces a bit and actually help themselves get through the dungeon because at some point they got lost in there. You start developing the relationship between Allegretto, Alba and Dante, Jazz, Falsetto. You start developing these characters. They start adding more to the lore of the world of the game. And it just progresses upon that. The game is broken up. It's not so stale. Vice versa in MS Saga A New Dawn. Everything is stale. It's go to a dungeon. Grind, 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 grind. Fight an enemy. Grind, 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 grind. Fight an enemy. And then when you finally fight all the enemies in this dungeon, you come across the boss. And if you're able to beat that, guess what? The game just half-assed throws some story at you and a little bit of plot and says, go along. Shoo now. Now repeat this process and do it over and over again until you beat the game. The only saving grace about this game that I can actually talk about is getting the schematics to some of the Gundams, which are a dime a dozen. There's only a small handful of them, but you get the schematics to a couple of Gundams from, like I said, different universes and different series in the Gundam world. Which is great. I enjoyed that. That's fucking cool. I'm like, cool, Gundams. I know this Gundam. I know that Gundam. So, yeah, I have fun doing that. But that's about it. You're mainly grinding most of the time. Save spots are a dime a dozen in this game. Literally, you'll be lucky if you go to a dungeon that has more than 2. Really lucky. And most of the time you're grinding because the enemies are ridiculously set harder than you are. Well, at least the boss enemies or the encounter enemies that you'll find throughout the game. This game is lazy. This game is fucking terrible, and it's really fucking sad. Like I said, I really want more games, mech-based RPGs to come out of Japan to the States. Right now, we're in such a gaming drought. I guess I'd take anything, but I wouldn't take this game. It's a waste of time. I wouldn't recommend it unless you're a die-hard, hardcore Gundam fan. You could go sit through this mess. Stay away. It's a boring RPG. Players, find something better to play. And there's a lot of good games out there. So, just stay away from this one. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. And like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm the AntiHeroDrink. Later, gamers.